Well, I haven't just, it isn't only now that I've asked him. In fact, I asked him on the anniversary, the last anniversary of Bolage's brother, and just reminded him of his pledge. And I was gratified that the response was instant. He asked the Inspector General of Police to dust up those files, the unsolved cases, and report to the nation, and we're waiting. In the meantime, however, he took a step, not just he, the leadership of the ruling party, the APC, took a very strange and contradictory step. Because if you want an open investigation, you don't include in your team, even if it's in another direction, if it's a position which in some way or the other may reflect on the outcome of the investigation, you don't then choose that time to put that individual, escalate that individual to a position of potential influence. That's all. For me, this is contradictory, and it totally just vitiates the element of sincerity which one would have attributed to the president's decision to reopen the files. That's all. No, I didn't say to cripple the case, but it has the potential to degrade. Oh, the national secretary of a ruling party is literally like a kind of informal president of the nation. We're talking about a ruling party. And you saw, in fact, the kind of power which Oshomole wielded when he was national secretary. A party is even supposed to be superior hierarchically to the governance, because the party decides policies, they have a manifesto, they can call elected officers to order, as I remember happened between Oshomole and Ngige. You can tell even the president, listen, you are letting the party down, you are crippling the activities of the party, or you are diminishing the popularity of the party by this or that policy. And so that position, national secretary, the appointment of somebody who in any way was implicated by this unsolved murder, for me, has the potential to cripple, if you like to use that word, or at least taint whatever the findings are. It's contradictory. And that's why I called on the party leadership, especially in the person of Buhari, to remember his pledge and to make sure that that pledge is not only thoroughly fulfilled, but is seen to be exhaustively fulfilled.
What's your view about the security situation in the country, especially when we look at the Kaduna killings at the moment?
Well, what's the point by saying what everybody knows and what everybody is screaming from north to south and east to west? This presidency, this government needs help. It no longer can cope. And not just now. This has been going on for years. And I don't know that really it's just that the citizens of this country should live under such a cloud, such uncertainty. Get up in the morning, you don't know if you get back at night. But of course, the problem hasn't just begun. That's what I want everybody to understand. There has been laxity, there's been tolerance of impunity, in fact, the encouragement of impunity. There's been the compromise even within the judiciary so that cases are not solved in time and seem to be solved very objectively. There's been, of course, the thieving of money, funds intended for the military to combat insurgency, whether of the religious or the secular kind, known as banditry. So it's a multi-level situation, and it did not begin just now. If we don't keep stressing that, we'll never get to the root of the problem or find effective ways of not only tackling but eradicating the problem. So it's an old sore which has now gone gangrenous.
Now 2023 is coming. Do you have anything to say about the 2023 elections?
No, as a matter of fact, no. I've just decided that I will take a ringside seat on the coming elections. You see, the situation is so not confused. No, it's quite clear to some extent, but at the same time, it's turbid in the sense that look at the two major parties. There's been such crossing over from one rivulet to another, each crossing having its own purpose, that it's getting very difficult to even distinguish between the two major parties. And unfortunately, the youths of this nation don't seem to want to take their destiny in their own hands. In other words, if you remember during the last elections, we encouraged the youths to mobilize, get a consensus candidate, and of course, capable, not just youthful, not youth for youth's sake, but a really effective and potentially effective leader, and present that candidate to us. Well, they failed to do that, and I have a fear that the same thing will happen this year. So very likely, all I'll do is take French leave of the elections and just watch the results.